Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today to share with you the finish and post-completion review of my Kindred Spirits diamond painting kit. I'm going to start backwards like I did last time because I just want to talk about some things. First of all, I made my own diamond painting cover sheets for this. I loved using these. I've decided this is something I'm going to try and do now, as kind of match as I'm diamond painting my cover sheets with whatever I'm diamond painting. Can't sell them, of course, because I haven't licensed any of the artwork, but just using them for my own enjoyment, and I'm enjoying them, so there's that. This one had enough drills that I had to use 2 storage containers here. I couldn't fit everything in the one Elizabeth Ward tray. I ended up adding quite a few things to this kit. It came with, I think, 3 ABs and 1 fairy dust. So you can see here at the beginning, I've got my 3 ABs. There was a red AB, kind of a yellowish AB, and then a white AB. So I will be hanging on to all of those so I can add them to my AB stash. But first I have to look up what the actual numbers are, since Diamond Art Club uses their own codes for ABs. And then it came with this marked fairy dust drill. So I'm going to save this one, even though there's not very many of them. Fairy dust drills are fun. I'm finding that I much prefer them to ABs, actually. And then I went and pulled out several of my own stash. So I have some ABs that I added. I added these reddish ABs, these pink ABs, and these red. I guess these are more of a dark red, kind of purpley, and these are more of a dark red, and these are pink. These went in the ears. I think these went in the ears as well. These kind of got sprinkled here and there in the various decorative parts, maybe in their tails, that kind of thing. So I added those 3 ABs, and then I had all of these fairy dust drills, most of which were leftovers from my Mini Dazzles diner food kit. So I decided that I was going to use these. And so what I do when I do this, when I have extra ABs, what I do is I add a little dot onto the sticker or a star or something, so that I know when I go to pull out that symbol that I have an AB to go with it. So I was doing that, and then I have these 2 here, 738 and 739. And I was debating with myself whether I wanted to use these, because these were going to be used mostly in the face of the smaller cat. And so I didn't know for sure, because these make things look kind of metallic, if that was going to be a good idea. So I decided, well, maybe I won't use those. Anyway, so I decided that I wouldn't use these. And then as I was diamond painting with them, I suddenly was like, wait, I thought I had decided that I wasn't going to use the fairy dust drills. And what I realized was the drills that came with the kit are fairy dust. I don't know if you can see that, but they're not marked as fairy dust, but they are fairy dust. So I don't know if that's a mistake when they were making the kit, if it was a mistake to include those fairy dust, or if it was a mistake not to somehow designate those fairy dust drills. So I'll be saving these fairy dust drills as well. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to go ahead and add them in right here to the ones that I already have, because I definitely want to save those. Like I said, I'm fast finding out that I really love the mica powder drills, and sometimes really prefer those over ABs for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is ABs seem to be just a tad bit bigger. I'm assuming because of the coating, the iridescent coating that gets put on. They seem to be just a tad bit bigger in size, and also a tad bit bigger like width-wise, and a tad bit bigger in height. So almost like the diamond dots drills that I would get to do my round ones, they would just be a little bit taller. So I really like this one. I think this one got used in a couple of places. Most of this I think got used in the background. You can see I don't have very many of these left. Yeah, really loved using the fairy dust drills. So I have all of those that I added in extra as well. So lots of colors in this one, although I will say, one, some of these colors were pretty trashy, and there was one that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to finish the kit. Like, I was afraid I was going to run out of this color. I didn't. So I didn't run out of this color, and I managed to finish the kit. But there are a lot of dark colors in this kit. Two of the biggest colors, both because they were part of the background and part of the cats, were 823 and 939, and they were just super trashy. And something that I've not seen before, I don't know if there's going to be any in here, but let me pour some out just to see. So you can see there's one there that's got a tab on it. There's one there that's sitting up a little bit weird. There's one right there, I think. It's a little hard to see when they're kind of sitting by themselves, but I don't know if you can see how that particular one kind of goes up in the corner. It's almost like they're at an angle. Maybe I'll dump out some of my trash and see if I can find some that I can show you, because sitting in the tray, they would be almost like, instead of a square, they've become a trapezoid or a parallelogram. Not a trapezoid, a parallelogram, if I can remember my geometry. So like everything is parallel, but instead of being perpendicular, they're kind of at an angle. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? I don't know if I'll be able to, well, because of course it's me. Let me just spill all of my trash here. All right, let me get this cleaned up and I'll be right back. So I don't know if you can see this one right here. See how it kind of sits at an angle? This one that looks like it has a hole in it. These two are stuck together. You've got ones that have like little tabs on them so they don't sit properly. Some trash, those are stuck together. These two are stuck together. So there's one that is kind of, if you can see it, sitting at an angle like that. And there were just a ton of them like that in here. So I don't know if it was something with the way this particular batch was made, or if it was just because these are a lot of dark colors, but this is all of my trash. So you can see it's quite a bit, and it's mostly dark colors. There are a few things like that one right there that has a hole in it, some just random pieces, that sort of thing. But for the most part, it's all the dark colors. Not a great experience. So I did have more than enough to finish all of them. So I didn't run out of any colors, but it's a good thing that there were plenty of extras because I threw away quite a few of them. So that's everything that I wanted to share, I think, about the ABs that I added in, the fairy dust that I added in, and all of the trash and the other issues with the drill. So let me grab the canvas and we'll look at it. Here is the completed canvas, and it's kind of big, so I can't get everything in one frame. I have, of course, taken B-roll as always so that I can show you guys everything. I'm actually really, really happy with how this turned out. So you can see in the ears here where I added in some of those ABs. There's ABs in this kind of outer dark section, and then I just kind of, those I replaced completely. This pink in the middle, I just kind of sprinkled them in. I actually wasn't sure with the darker red that I substituted if I would like it, but I'm actually okay with it. I think it looks pretty good. The white that you can see here in the background was actually included. So there are those. And then there are some fairy dust drills that I included in the background here and here. I actually made that color all fairy dust. You can see it over here as well in these little ones. But as I got towards the middle here, I ran out. So in the middle here, it's not fairy dust, but I think it looks good and I'm happy with it. Again, I'm not a huge cat person. Cats are cute, don't get me wrong, but I'm allergic. So I've never had cats really, never really been around cats, and just aren't a big thing for me. But I really love how this one turned out. I think their eyes turned out amazing. I love their cute little noses. I did add some ABs for that color in their noses. Not sure if I would do that again. It looks okay. I don't think it looks bad, but maybe it would have looked better if I had just stuck with the original drills that were in there. Sort of that same thing of not replacing skin. This is kind of, I guess, the only skin you really see on a cat. is their little nose. So maybe I would have done that differently, but I think they both turned out really, really cute. I'm a huge fan of the kind of Zentangle look of the cats. So they've got like all these extra little designs drawn on them, as well as the bottom section that I'll get to in a minute. This piece up here, again, that kind of Zentangle pattern thing that I just really, really like. So here you can kind of see where the fairy dust got used, that color that was included as fairy dust. I added some of the fairy dust around its eyes as well. I actually think that turned out really well. There's this one and then this kind of coppery one here on this cat. I don't think I added any fairy dust on the darker cat just because I didn't have any colors that matched the ones that were being used in the cat. And if we look at kind of the bottom here, we've got these flowers. You can see all the patterns and designs that get used in the cat's tail, on their bodies, his little foot here, this flower, and then the bottom is just kind of this all kind of geometric abstract design. I started on the bottom on this one, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because this was where most of the dark colors were, the dark browns, the dark grays. And I think if I had started with the lighter colors at the top and then had to finish with these, I would have drove myself bonkers. I think I made the right decision to start from the bottom up on this one. So I kind of got all of the darker colors out of the way. I did add in ABs down here and fairy dust drills down here as well. So you can kind of see where some of those went. I love the coppery looking one. I think the whole thing turned out really, really well. I'm really happy with it. I enjoyed this one so much more than I thought I would. This one is one of my newer ones. I bought this one November of last year, so it's not super old. It's not one of my older ones. So I think this is the newer drills because they feel different when I run my hands over them. And also what I noticed was they somehow seem to stick up a little bit more than other drills. Like they fit together really, really nicely with that little satisfying click and pop that you get. But I don't know, I felt like after I felt like I had, like looking at them right now, it kind of looks at an angle, like some of them are still popped up, but when I run my hand over them, they're not. So a little bit weird in that way. But again, super happy with how everything worked out. Really glad that you guys picked this one for me to do, because even though it was on my want series, I don't know how quickly I would have gotten to it, or if I would even have gotten to it this year. So super happy that you guys picked this one for me to do. Also, because it was a square, I wasn't super thrilled, but I think I've gone back and I've done like 5 squares in a row now. It's all good. I'm actually going to do, I think my next 2 projects are also going to be squares. So maybe I can make some headway into that pile of squares in my stash and get some of them done. But again, this was a super enjoyable experience to diamond paint. Even though the drills, some of the colors were kind of trashy, and there were a lot of them, because you can see how much of the dark colors got used here in the cats themselves, the body of them. But picking out trashy drills aside, the rest of it was a really nice experience. Just diamond painting and how nicely they fit together and how tightly they fit together on the canvas and how nice they look and how nice they feel when you get finished. Just an all-around enjoyable experience. I don't know if I'll buy any more cat paintings, but I really like this artist style, and she seems to do a lot of cats, or at least cats is what I see in diamond paintings. I know she does some other things. I guess I need to go look and see if I can find some that maybe aren't cats or some other sort of animal, but just a really enjoyable experience, and definitely a much needed palette cleanser after some of the kind of trashier, gappier squares that I was dealing with earlier in the year as I was completing some of my older projects. There's still a little bit of gapping here and there. You can see some in the light colors and in various places in the background, but overall, especially because a lot of it is very dark colors, you don't really notice it, and it looks so, so good. Except for this one drill here that has a hole in it that I've now seen and can't unsee, so I'm gonna have to pick that one off and replace it. Does anybody else do that? I'll be diamond painting away, finish a section, move on to the next section, and then because I've moved the canvas, now suddenly the light is at a different angle and I can see a hole or some imperfection that I've missed in a drill that I've placed, and so I'll go back and pick it off. Sometimes if it's like on a corner or something and it's not super noticeable, I'll leave it, but that one's super noticeable, so I'm going to fix that. So let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of how this one turned out? Have you ever done a kit by this artist? And if so, what did you think? Was it this kit or was it a different one? I know that Diamond Art Club has at least one other one that I think was a single cat, and there might be another one that has multiple cats as well. Not sure about that, so don't quote me, but I will stick a link to this kit down below. It's not super old, so maybe it's still in stock, I don't know. But if not, you can just go check out maybe some of her other art pieces that are now diamond paintings. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.